Well, thank you all for coming here tonight. Thank you, Lourdes Ayon, for that amazing introduction. Low expectations. Yes. So, look, the night is still young, but we're here. And I'm so amazed seeing everybody out here today. People I've known for decades, people I've worked with, my family, my coworkers, my future hopeful elected officials at City Hall, all of you that helped, whether you wrote a check, put a sign in your yard, hosted a coffee for us, knocked on some doors. It takes all of us. It took all of us. But look, I'm not declaring victory, make that certainly clear. We have one count so far at 8:15. There's one coming in at 10 and one coming in at midnight. So after tonight, that'll be less than half of the ballots cast this entire election. So this is literally the first quarter in a Sac State football game. Stingers up. Yes. But I just wanted to give you all just an update. So it's about 9 o'clock. There'll be another update at 10. We certainly hope to continue this trajectory, but we have no idea. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. The first time in the primary, I went from 3rd place to 4th place to 2nd place to 3rd place. We ended up in 2nd place. All I know is after this election, we need to be in 1st place. Yeah. So we're gone through the first step, and I can thank a million people here, and I'll stop this right now, but just really thank you all for helping me get this far. We're not done yet, but I'm super excited for the opportunity, the precipice to serve my city of Sacramento as our next mayor. But we're still counting ballots. Everybody's vote should be counted tonight and the weeks to come. But the future is bright in the city of Sacramento. We ran a spirited campaign. Our opposition ran a spirited campaign. There were choices. There's going to be over 200,000 people who cast ballots in the city of Sacramento, focusing on the future. So I'm upbeat and look forward to the ballots coming in tonight and for the next few days as well. Just want to give you an update. I'll maybe come back a little bit later, give you another update. Thank you so much for coming out here tonight. Thank you.
I'm trying to take this in for a moment. Just take it in for a moment. Hey, y'all. It is November 5th, and we are here. I want to thank everyone who helped make this evening possible, because without you, we wouldn't be here. Sacramento is a really wonderful city, filled with people like you, filled with some of my favorite food and my favorite neighborhoods, and certainly my favorite events. And I am grateful to have lived here for the last 2 decades and to have met so many of you in this space. You know, this city has so many positives that we have come together to celebrate. We find community and find joy. And it is something that we should never, ever, ever take for granted. At the same time, we also have some challenges. And we know what those challenges are. We are struggling with a homelessness crisis. We have people struggling to afford to live here. We are concerned about our safety. And we are concerned about the health of our planet. We all just experienced in October with some of the hottest days on record. And so those are the challenges up against us, but we have what we need to make a brighter future. And I am grateful to all of you for inspiring me to dream and for dreaming with me about what that future can be. Because our campaign slogan, "More is Possible," is not just a slogan, it's a reminder. It's a reminder that we can create what we haven't seen yet. It's a reminder that we can step a little bit closer to the people around us. It's a reminder that every single thing that we don't like, every system that isn't working properly was created at some point by someone no more talented, no more worthy, no more capable than every single person in this room. And what that means is that if we don't like what we have, we can change it. And so I'm grateful to all of the change agents who are in this room, who are dreaming about what's possible and making it so. Because this campaign is not just judged by traditional metrics. It's also judged by the quality of the connections we've made. It's judged by the way we have ignited energy throughout this city. It's judged by the opportunities that we've all taken advantage of over the last 19 months. And so I am here tonight to say thank you. We have our first round of results, and we are cautiously optimistic because we all remember what happened in March, right? And I'm gonna tell you one more time, I know my people. And we are not the early voting type. My people were in line at 7:59, going, today's the day. So all those people who were out in those 2-hour lines today, I see you. I see you. So I want to say thank you to you, and I want to say thank you in some really meaningful ways. I want to start by thanking the people who have thrown house parties. If you've thrown a house party, please raise your hand. Let's cheer for that. We held 97 house parties. People opened up their homes and their delicious food, and we had conversations about the community we wanted to live in. Please raise your hand if you knocked doors for this campaign. That's right. We knocked over 70,000 doors. Including over 8,200 doors this weekend. And some of you were so dedicated that you knocked doors in 100-degree heat. You knocked doors when it was raining. You knocked doors. No, you were like the Postal Service. It did not matter. You showed up and got the assignment done, and I want to thank you. Please raise your hand if you phone banked. Again, just this weekend, we made 20,000 calls. If you tabled or passed out flyers at events, come on, raise your hand. If you organized an event at your school or community group or your faith community, raise your hand. If you organized or attended a forum or a debate, raise your hand. If you wrote postcards, raise your hand. Right. If you talk to your friends and your family and your neighbors and perfect strangers, shout out to you introverts, raise your hand. No, seriously, big shout out to the introverts because I know you gave more than those of us who are energy vampires and we're getting it back. Raise your hand if you distributed lawn signs. Raise your hand if you displayed lawn signs. Raise your hand if you installed those very big lawn signs. Raise your hand if you hosted me on a podcast or a media forum. And shout out to the media in the front. Raise your hand if you ran a 5K with the Flow for Mayor team. That's right. If you were in the Pride Parade with us, raise your hand. If you did some reverse trick-or-treating, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you introduced me to someone that I didn't know. Raise your hand if you gave me a piece of advice during this campaign. A lot of you, everybody, every hand should be up in here, y'all. Come on. Raise your hand if you host an event and you gave me time to speak. Raise your hand if you shared a social media post. Raise your hand if you made original content, including songs or videos or secondary campaign slogans. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you got your kids or your pets involved. Raise your hand if you wore a button or a t-shirt at any point in the last 19 months. Raise your hand if you traveled from outside of Sacramento to be here to support us. That's right, and I want to shout out my college and grad school friends for being here from Philadelphia and New York and DC and Oklahoma to help us. I guess I gotta say this. Raise your hand if you were a Kofor chauffeur. Or if you brought me food or flowers, real or the Lego kind, or asked me how I was doing. If you gave me dap or handshakes or hugs or high fives, raise your hand. See, because that's what this campaign has been about. It's been about the ways that we have shown up for each other. We are human beings, not robots. We are human beings, not robots. And we have shown up and we have said there are things that we want to see in our community, and we got together across divides. Not agreeing on everything, but finding ways to be able to work together. And I know that that's possible because we do it every day. Some of you all are married to people you don't agree with about everything. Some of you have children you definitely don't agree with about everything. Some of you have coworkers and friends you don't agree with about anything. And yet you are still able to work together every day. And so we are so incredibly grateful that we came together to talk about what we wanted for Sacramento. You are what brought us here tonight. And I am so incredibly honored to have been the name at the top of this ticket, but on the back of every single one of those new t-shirts was our slogan, which is, "We are running for mayor." And you all took that to heart. You showed up in ways that this campaign never felt lonely. This campaign felt like a lot of fun, even though we were doing hard work and we were encouraging one another. Even though there were early mornings and late nights, there was still a lot of joy in this space. And I want to remind us that that is what community looks like. That is what government should look like. That is what our lives should look like. And so I am so grateful to all of you for making the tremendous investments and sometimes sacrifices to get us to this moment. And I am very clear that when we win this election, I am still going to need your help. We have a city to govern, and we ran for mayor, and now we have to serve as mayor. So that means don't have those meetings of yours on Tuesday nights at 5 o'clock, because you have a city council being at mayor. And we have to come together to help house our unhoused neighbors. To build better solutions than sweeping people from place to place with no destination. We have to come together to improve our transit so that we can all walk and bike and drive safely through our community. We have to invest in public safety so that we have a more integrated and preventive approach. Because as we've said a lot, none of us woke up this morning hoping to be a victim of crime. None of us woke up this morning hoping to call 911. And so our approach to public safety has to include prevention, and it has to include the very real interests of the people who live here. We have to center our climate goals. We have to make Sacramento a clean energy hub because we have the capability here. And that is something that our literal lives and the future of our species depends on. we have to support local business and help make Sacramento a city that works for all of us. And if that sounds like a lot, that's because it is. It's a whole lot. And that is absolutely too much for just one mayor. And that is why I am counting on all of you as we move forward. So tonight, we are going to celebrate what we have done here. Because every time you raised your hand and cheered, those are all the metrics by which we judge our success. The numbers will follow, but for now, we are celebrating what we have done here. We came, we saw, we loved, and we are better for it. So I hope to see you all on the dance floor with me.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.
Hello, California! And thank you to Speaker Rob Rivas. We are so lucky to have Rob Rivas as our Speaker of the State Assembly. Are we not? Isn't he incredible? It is such a delight to be here with you tonight. And before I begin, I want to acknowledge my opponent, Steve Garvey. I know it's not easy to be a candidate for any office. It's hard on you, it's hard on your loved ones, and I wish him well. And I join him in celebrating the Dodgers' amazing win over the Yankees. Tonight, I am especially grateful to the millions of Californians who put their faith in me. I also find myself thinking about Senator Dianne Feinstein, who was a friend and mentor and as long as I knew her, she was a giant in the U.S. Senate. Nobody will be able to fill Diane's immense shoes, but her memory will be my guide. And tonight, I am so humbled to be your next United States Senator. Thank you, California. I will spend every day trying to repay the trust that you have placed in me by serving this golden state with all of my heart and soul. Thank you, California. Tonight is going to be a very long night. We won't know the result of every race. We will need to be patient. And whatever the result of the presidential race, we know there will be serious challenges facing the state of California and the country. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of the way people may have voted, I want to make one thing clear. As your senator, I am committed to standing up for every Californian. I am committed to taking on the big fights to protect our freedoms and to protect our democracy. California will continue to be at the forefront of progress, the bulwark of democracy, the champion of innovation, and the protector of our rights and freedoms. We are a big, beautiful, diverse, and generous state. We look out for each other. We stand up for each other. We extend our hands to lift up each other. We celebrate and appreciate our different backgrounds and cultures. I've seen it firsthand. From the first day I launched this campaign to the visits I've made to nearly every corner of the Golden State. From meeting with local leaders in the border community of Calexico to seeing the restoration of redwoods north of Willits, I've met the most amazing people all across California. I've listened to your concerns, I've heard your fears, I've shared your hopes, and imagined the future that you want to see for yourselves and for your children. And because of this, every day I woke up energized and hopeful. In Bakersfield, I met with entrepreneurs who turned their passion into successful small businesses that had lifted up their communities. In Salinas, I heard from farm workers who toiled in the fields from sunrise to sundown, rain or shine, to ensure that families across the country had food on their tables. In Oakland, I felt the joy and energy of an early morning service at the Allen Temple Baptist Church. In Merced, I sat down with college students and heard about the careers they were building for themselves. In Lakewood, I saw firsthand the hard and rewarding labor of child care providers. I witnessed their patience, their kindness, and the love that they bring to their work. Our state has its struggles, like every state, but none are insurmountable because we are the Golden State and we get big things done. And my promise to you is that I'm going to deliver on day one, week one, year one, and keep on delivering for this amazing state. Because together there is no challenge that we cannot overcome. We leave no community behind. We do not stop, we do not rest until all our citizens have a safe place to live, clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, safe neighborhoods to raise their children, good hospitals, clinics, and health care, and the best public schools in the world. In pursuit of this dream for all our people, I will not rest, California. In the Senate, I will be a champion and voice for all Californians, whether you voted for me or not, whether you live in the big city or a small county, whether you grew up here or came to America searching for a better life. We are going to build more affordable housing so that you aren't forced to choose between your rent and putting food on the table. We are going to ensure that our fellow neighbors do not have to sleep on the street. We are going to help hardworking families by lowering costs. We are going to fight tooth and nail to protect abortion access and defend democracy and our freedoms. We are going to bring resources and jobs back to the Golden State to create opportunity for all Californians. We're going to fight on behalf of our dream workers, our farm workers, our immigrant families, so they no longer have to live in the shadows. We are going to protect our planet, fight climate change, and bring good-paying green jobs here to California. It is a big task, I know, but we can do it because we are going to do it together. I am determined to fight every single day on behalf of this great state and its great people, and I am so thankful for your trust and your support, and I can't wait to do this job with you together. I want to thank my incredible wife, Eve, and yes, we are Adam and Eve. My kids, Lexi and Eli. Lexi's boyfriend, Eric, gets a shout out. My brother, Daniel, and his wife, Amy. My brother, David, and his family. My nieces and my nephews, and of course, the one the world revolves around, baby Maya. I could not have done this without your endless love and support, and it's so wonderful to get to celebrate with you tonight. Eve, I don't know where to begin, but this Adam would be lost without this Eve. I love you, and I'm grateful to you for your strength and love. Lexi and Eli, being your dad is my favorite job in the world. I love you, and I am so proud of you. And I also want to acknowledge my mother and father, Cheryl and Ed Schiff. While they're no longer with us, I wouldn't be standing here but for their love and guidance and support. My father lived to be 96. He passed earlier this year. And I so wish he could be here with us tonight. Dad, give Mom a hug and tell her I hope she's still not upset with me for not being a doctor. I also want to thank every volunteer and supporter who made calls, sent texts, knocked on doors, and chipped in a few bucks, because your hard work not only made this Senate race possible, but you are going to deliver the House of Representative majority to Hakeem Jeffries tonight. And I want to thank Nancy Pelosi, the greatest of all time, the most incredible speaker in our history, for her friendship, her mentorship, her leadership. There was no one who stood more in the breach defending our democracy than Nancy Pelosi, and I thank you. We set out to build the largest grassroots campaign in California history, and I think we hit the mark. To my wonderful staff, I thank you. You are all dedicated public servants who have committed countless hours, nights, weekends to this effort, and this victory is also yours. To my wonderful constituents in the 30th Congressional District who have supported me for over 25 years, I cannot thank you enough for your confidence in the honor of representing you. I hope that I have served you well and made you proud. And to my new constituents all over the state, whether you voted for me or not, I am committed to being a champion for every Californian in every corner of this wonderful state. California, I thank you for your trust. I am grateful to serve as your U.S. Senator. Now, let's get to work. Thank you, California. Thank you, everyone. God bless this state and country. Thank you so much.
Jeff, thank you so much. This young man who started in politics just about 70 years ago, has come a tremendous way. He's what we talk about when we talk about great young men and women getting involved in politics, conservative politics. God bless you. You've run a great race. Thank you. So first of all, funny how long ago when we first walked in to Joy Leidecke's wonderful shop and asked her, we're thinking about money. Can you help us? And from that moment to tonight, it has been a journey. But I want to thank Joy and all the women, Heidi, because you have truly been the wrong party, but I think that you're still celebrating that Dodger World Championship. You know, winning the World Championship for this 2014 was amazing. So proud of the boys, fighting at all times, playing when they're injured and didn't feel well. And then winning in Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. If you can't win at home, winning at Yankee Stadium is the next best thing. And of course, the '81 World Championship, and you remember the great...
California will continue to be at the forefront of progress, the bulwark of democracy, the champion of innovation. From the first day I launched this campaign to the visits I've made to nearly every corner of the Golden State, from meeting with local leaders in the border community of Calexico to seeing the restoration of redwoods north of Willits, I've met the most amazing people all across California. I've listened to your concerns, I've heard your fears.
I would like to congratulate Adam Schiff. Haven't I taught you the Garvey way? Haven't I taught you that we can leave it on the field sometimes? But what we learned from this battle, you and I, is that we may have lost the battle, but we will win the war. And that's against the tyranny of the administration and the republic that has suppressed you, the people, and your voice. Put him in jail. I'll get to that in 1 second. You know, every man that runs for office, or every man that thinks that his success is really because of the love of a woman, and in my case it truly is, because 35 years ago I met this wonderful woman, Candace Garvey. God put her in my life, and since that time, she and I have merged our families and created a family that believes in God. But honey, thank you. You've been there every step of the way. Because even though I am, and you have to stay with me now, because what I believe in is always being fair and just and kind and merciful. Is only the beginning. And when you shouted out, "Don't stop now," we are not stopping now. Because what we did in the beginning, it took us about 4 months to find out whether there was a narrow pathway to running for the U.S. Senate. And you know that our campaign philosophy built a great team. A team that very early on in the campaign, as you may remember, were in a solid second place against the cabal of Barbara Lee and Katie Porter and Adam Schiff. And we started getting recognition as far east as the Capitol in Washington for running a race that was unique, running a race that was genuine, running a race like nobody had here in 30 years because of having been blessed to play the great game of baseball and to have played in front of hundreds of millions of people and to know that with that commitment, it takes a team. And my team, with my dear Olivia and Ryan and Sean, inspired me every day because the faith of family is the single thread that weaves us all together. So let's just talk a minute about what we tried to accomplish. And I think that before I do that, let's just thank our law enforcement, our veterans and military, our firefighters, and our paramedics. Let's do that. You know, when we first started out putting our team together, we had a list of about 10 different things that we thought affected your lives on a daily basis. And it ended up that the cost of living, fixing the homeless crisis, addressing the existential crisis at the border, improving our public schools were the things that really meant the most to us. And Candace and I have said that running for you has been the greatest honor. But maybe we were running for the future of California. And we mean that by our children and our grandchildren. That is our true future. We will get this country back on track. Amen. I firmly believe that we will have a new president tonight, Donald J. Trump. He'll be supported by a strong Senate. Would have loved to have been that 53rd Senate. Our Congress will, our good men and women in California will find a way to make sure we have a majority in that Congress. And another thing I've taken a lot of pride in, and that is to be able to have helped the down ticket to reach 7 or 8 different offices that they might not have been able to reach if my voice hadn't been out every day talking about faith and family and freedom and that common sense. Well, when I talk about me, I talk about we, because it was never about political opportunity or party politics, because that's been so divisive in these United States, in our republic, that more than ever we need unity. And you've heard me say, going back to Washington as your next elected senator, I would go to all 99 offices, stick out my hand, and say, I want to work with you for the best interest of your state and my state in this country. And I hope Adam Schiff will have heard this. No, let's, please. And that he will somehow, some way realize that maybe at this point in his life, that maybe Steve Garvey gave him the idea that he can make a difference. Now that's why we live this life, is to give others inspiration. We didn't follow the path of pandering or rhetoric-filled lists of unachievable policies and unworkable positions. We took a stand on what impacted Californians. And I will still fight with this new platform that we've created, that we will move forward with, that will significantly reduce crime in our streets, that will affect our economy and inflation, that will make sure that our border is secure and that we vet those coming into this country. And the homelessness. You know, you have told me you want to know what's happening in America and around the world. So we went to the border, and we went from the corner in Tijuana and San Diego to Jacumba, and saw the illegal immigrants coming across and challenging our U.S. border. And then we went to the inner cities of San Diego and Los Angeles and Sacramento. And when you get down on a knee and you look at these homeless people, they don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. They just look you in the eye, and you can see their souls, and at the lowest part in their lives, they need somebody to help them, to care about them. And over $25 billion was spent on the homeless from 2020 to now. And we increased homelessness 15% last year, and that's unconscionable. And I will continue to fight to find out where that money went to, so that our homeless will have a place where they can go to, and they can be helped, and their addictions and their alcoholism can be addressed. And in a short amount of time, like the Dream Center in Los Angeles and Father Joe's in San Diego, that these people can get a job. And as Candace had always said so eloquently, that, and what did you say, honey? Yeah, and that they would have dignity in their hearts. And that's what we can do as people to help these homeless. So going forward, I think that we've looked at a government that's turned a blind eye to the catastrophes that are happening. But when we announced on October 10th, as you know, 3 days before that, the Israeli war broke out. And people were confused as to why and how that could happen. And as we listened to the demonstrations at college campuses around the country, and we heard that the Israelis were vilified by what people said was a genocide against Hamas, and you and I know differently. And in that first debate, when I was asked how I stand with Israel, I said, I stand with Israel yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I will stand by them. For all their needs. But I could never tell them they couldn't protect their sovereignty. And our campaign, and Ryan and I, went to Israel for a week. And we listened to the IDF generals and the advisors. We went to an Iron Dome facility. But the first thing we did, we went to the kibbutz that at 6:30 on October 7th was overrun by Hamas. These 900 people, many of them were killed. And the brutality of it, that was the true genocide Hamas inflicted on Israel. We went to the Nova Music Festival, 10 miles away, where 3,500 young men and women from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., just like Coachella, enjoyed music, the festival of dancing. And as they were leaving at 6:30, as they were leaving this festival driving out, they ran into 13 Hamas vehicles that killed 350 of these young men and women. And we visited throughout the country. We ended up in Jerusalem. And on the last day, Ryan and I went to the Western Wall. And we put on our yarmulkes. And we went up and we put our hands on that wall and prayed for those that we know and love that are sick. We prayed for our country. We prayed for Israel. And we prayed for the hearts and souls of people in America to remember that this small country that you can put 6 Israels into California, of 9 million people, was carrying the torch for democracy in this country. We shall never forget and always support them. But we also went from Chula Vista to Redding to Lodi, to Brawley, great California cities, visited with the great ranchers and farmers, the oil drillers, that make up arguably the greatest agricultural area in the world, who generational families feed you and I, this country and the world, who are suppressed by overregulation by leadership in this state. And I will address that issue every day as we continue to build on a platform for you, the people, and the people that make up this great state of California. And I said back in the 70s that California was the heartbeat of America. And it's become a murmur. And that's why we together, going forward, will bring back that heartbeat. Ronald Reagan once said, as long as a dream lives, and as long as we continue to defend it, the American dream, America has a future, and all mankind has reason to hope. We do have reason to hope. Sometimes we lose the battle, but we will win the war if we stay together and fight together for what's right. Abraham Lincoln said, I will walk towards what is right, I will walk away from what is wrong, but we, the people, standing together, will always accomplish our goals. And two final things. This state is made up of 40% of the Latinos and Hispanics. And we put together a campaign. We spent $5 million in a campaign in Spanish to reach these hardworking people who are the backbone of agriculture and the backbone of our communities, to let them know that when they were told the Democrats were going to take care of them, and what was said in the third debate when the Telemundo reporter asked Barbara Lee, the Latino community doesn't feel you care about them. And she said, well, we don't. And then Adam Schiff started to stumble and say, we really haven't cared about them. And then they asked me, she said, what do you think, Mr. Garvey? And I looked into the teleprompter and I said, as your next elected U.S. Senator, I pledge to make the Latino community a priority. And they are our brothers and sisters, and we must always realize that they're an integral part of our society. And finally, we spoke to thousands and thousands of Christians. And the great churches of California, and of course we're Catholic and we love our church and our faith. But we are all Christians and we all worship the same God. And that's been reaffirmed over and over again. And as Christians, we will continue to fight. And you know, Judeo-Christian principles have been attacked. But we will fight against that. And just know that the Garvey family and campaign, as tough as it is tonight, because I hate to lose, as you know. I've lost a few World Series, but you know what? We came back and won in '81 because we were relentless in the pursuit of what we believed in, and that's happened tonight. So thank you all, brothers and sisters. God bless you, and we will continue the fight for American California. Thank you.
Give it up for the next Assembly member of San Joaquin County. Thank you. And next, City Council member for Stockton, Mario Enriquez. Thank you. Folks, these are the future leaders, not just the future leaders. These are going to be the future leaders in January. Another month. Thanks to all of your work. This is what leadership looks like, and this is the new generation that's going to propel Stockton and San Joaquin County further. So thank you. I also want to give a shout out to all of our existing leaders that we have here. I know we have Sheriff Pat Withrow. Thank you, Sheriff, for all that you do to keep us out of the state. We've got District Attorney Ron Freitas. Thank you, Ron, for being a tremendous leader for Stockton and San Joaquin County. Councilmember Dan Wright and future Delta School Board member Dan Wright, who also won tremendous victory this evening. I know we have Stockton Unified School Board member Sophia Colon as well. Thank you, Sophia. Way in the back. And many others. And folks that are winning their races right now. there is a lot more ballots left to be counted nationally and locally. I know we're looking with some anxiety around some of the things that we're seeing nationally, although please do not get too anxious because the work is still beginning. Some of these states, we don't know how the order they count their ballots in, so please focus on what we can do here. And I can tell you with a loud, loud message that Stockton and San Joaquin County did our job tonight. We did our job tonight. And that job is very simple. It is electing principled leaders who are going to care about what's good for the community before their own self-interest. For far too long, we've had a vacuum of political leadership across our region from self-interested leaders that don't actually care about the good of Stockton and the good of San Joaquin County. And today is a huge step forward for a city and community that absolutely needs it. So this is not the end of the campaigns that have been working on for years. This is the beginning of a new generation of leaders that are going to work together. Imagine that in Stockton and San Joaquin County. We don't see that every day here. That are going to work together at every level. School board members, city leaders in Stockton and Tracy and Manteca and Lodi. Folks that are going to be working at our state assembly and state senate, where we're going to have Jerry McNerney, who's also going to be our state senate tonight. And then, of course, all the way up to the federal level. We have a lot of work left to go. Let me tell you, we've knocked on doors, thousands of doors, tens of thousands of doors in every single corner of our area. And what we have heard from folks is the exact same themes, that we have work to do to lower costs, to make sure that in an area that has seen so much growth, that everybody can afford to live here, lower prescription drug costs, lower housing costs, lower grocery prices in a community where so many people live paycheck to paycheck. We have heard again and again about the work that we need to do to make every community member safe, to make sure that we are focusing on the efforts to bring down crime in Stockton and in San Joaquin County, and make sure that every kid that wants to play in their backyard, every parent that wants to send their kid off to school and not have to worry about them for every single minute has that peace of mind that is well deserved. And also to make sure that we can ensure women's rights, which are absolutely no, not every politician in Washington is going to be fighting for that. And we're going to be doing our job in Stockton and San Joaquin County to make sure that we do that. So thank you. Can we give a huge shout out to the staff members that have worked pretty much 24/7. Thank you to every volunteer and supporter who knocked on every single door, who gave even $1 to the campaign, made even one phone call in our first campaign in 2018. Anybody remember that 2018 campaign? And
Yeah.
the district and turned it from red to blue and helped take We're going to be doing that again this time, I think, flipping the House majority here. I'm very optimistic about what we're going to be able to see for the House. But in every single volunteer who even spent 1 minute to knock on one door, was responsible for even one vote, that was the margin we won by in 2018. That's how close it can be. That's what democracy looks like. So thank you to our volunteers, and most of all, personally for me, thank you to my wife, Pam, giving me Pam is brilliant, and most importantly for me, she is the best role model for the two most adorable little girls you've ever seen. This morning, as some of you heard, was the first time that we had a chance to take our 7-month-old now, Karina, to the polling place and teach her what democracy looks like. I'm not sure she's going to remember. But we have some pictures to prove to her she was there. For our 2-year-old, it was the best start to a day you could imagine because she loves stickers. It's her favorite activity. So she grabbed the biggest handful of I voted and future voter stickers, and she went to school with them all over her sweater. So she is already a walking billboard for what our democracy looks like. And thank you, Pam, for doing all that you can to make sure that our family has survived and stayed safe across the campaign. And also just a huge thank you to all of the voters. I think when we see this election, when all ballots are counted, we're going to see one of the largest turnouts we've had in San Joaquin County, which I think is an exciting moment that every voice is going to get counted. And that what we have seen so far is going to suggest that we're going to propel our community in the direction that we need to go. So thank you all so much for being here. Let's continue to fight, and now the work starts. Let's get ready.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.